this is a relaunch task force. Where are we? I mean, we're hearing extraordinary stuff. We all are about a bounce. We call it a bounce at this point because nobody seems to know. But after having been in a complete shutdown, I mean, crickets, all right, nationwide, suddenly we're reading headlines that we never would have dreamed about a surge in business at different levels. And I've talked to a lot of guys in the last few days where in your collective eyes are we in this relaunch?
I think we're seeing some pinned up demand from having been shut down as it was the beginning of season. And then with that, I think we're seeing that a lot of, because from the dealer standpoint, I talk to dealers and I know what they're selling. We're not lying to each other for once. And we're selling first-time buyers, I mean, at alarming rates that we don't have inventory for. I mean, we weren't prepared for that, but they're coming in and it's just, you pinch yourself because it's unbelievable. How long will this run? I don't know how long the run will happen in this first wave, but it was partially pinned up demand, and it was people that now see the RV industry as a safe haven and a great place for them to go and not have to be among the masses, which is what they are seeing if they're going, on some of the other recreation type things they can do with a cruise or to one of the theme parks, that type of thing. So we're seeing a huge advantage there. I personally, and it's just a guess, obviously, I think this is going to run through the summer. And as schools open back up, that's when I think life may go back to some kind of normal. If we have another bump in cases, that's going to be interesting to see what that does to the industry. And the other part is, as I said, we couldn't predict this. So there's no way that the manufacturers are building enough of what we need. They can't do it quick enough. It's not their fault. They can't do it quick enough. So how long will that run? When we start running out of the products people want, that may slow it down on its own.
We have to be careful too to manage the expectation of the camping public. States are in various degrees of phased reopening, and it's really important that we not just swing the gates open and say we're ready for recreational camping everywhere, because it's not the case. Memorial Weekend was a great example where many of the campgrounds were under health code restriction to distance their spaces properly. And in some cases that meant, only 50% of capacity being allowed through the gate. So while some states are open for 100% recreational camping with social distancing included in the sentence, many are still in phase 1 or phase 2, which means they cannot invite the 100% capacity into their campgrounds.
And that's part of the challenge, that we felt with the Go RVing campaign. In the early days when everything was shut down, we were really focusing on repurposing a lot of that inspirational and aspirational out there. Families can use some of the activities that we've talked about to do in a campground while they're home. And now that we're relaunching the new campaign, we still even have to temper that to some extent, because you've got a lot of people that are in areas that are not fully open. So we can't say go RVing as in you can definitively go today. And even in areas where it's open, you still have a faction of consumers who still have fear, who don't want to travel. And so we have to be careful in the messaging that we're putting out to make sure that it's when you're ready to start on an adventure, we're here for you. And we've got great products here. And it's a great lifestyle, but we really have to make sure that we're not offending any group or causing undue harm to the industry by pushing people out the door too fast too.
Yeah, and to build on that, we've been very cautious about our launching of marketing. We only market if the state stay-at-home orders have lifted, and the governor has said that leisure travel within the state is approved. So I can use Montana as a great example. So we're one of the first states to open back up, but recreational travel in general isn't allowed until June 1st. So for the past month, we have not marketed in the state of Montana. So once recreational camping's approved, leisure travel is approved, and stay-at-home orders lift, then we turn on state-by-state marketing, and we only market to residents of that state to camp within that state, because a lot of states still have travel quarantines for out-of-staters. So it's very much a state-by-state approach. It's very localized, and we typically don't market that localized either. So it's new, and as of it's about half of the U.S. states that we're currently marketing in, and the rest were darkened because those three things haven't triggered. So even though a state opens up, we have to then watch which phase they're in for us to market.
And I would just add too, Sherm, that it's not business as usual for dealers in many states. They're limited to appointment setting in several states, that you have to have an appointment to visit the dealership. In Pennsylvania, there's still online sales only. So I think dealers have done a tremendous job in adapting to this new selling environment that they're in, to see some of the the sales numbers that are being reported in some sections of the country, because they can't just throw open the gates and let people in. There's some restrictions on how they do business, but certainly they've adapted through technology and contactless paperwork and things like that. And they've, it's quite amazing what they've been able to do.
I'm pausing because I got a hunch somebody else wants to add to, again, the hook question. So we're making progress, plenty of it. I mean, God knows if a month ago, 6 weeks ago, somebody had told us we'd be seeing headlines like this, we wouldn't have believed them for a moment. So stunning progress, but still a ways to go is the message I'm hearing.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of progress that still needs to be made out there, but when the manufacturers were making their plans, a number of them that I spoke with about reopening, they were coming back at far less than full capacity, and imagining by June they may get up to 75 or close to 100% capacity sometime during the summer. And now they're trying to ramp up to 100% plus capacity that they had planned to take off 1 to 2 weeks around the 4th of July. Now I hear one company, they're only going to shut down on the 4th of July. They're going to stay open the rest of the period. Many companies have gone to 6 days a week. I don't think anybody anticipated that it would recover like this so fast.